Welcome in the second video of Python Fundamentals. I hope you all are following my blog nopythonbytes.blogspot.com. So let us begin with this second video on Python Fundamentals. In this session we are going to learn about data types and operators. Now, what are data types in Python? Data types are actually the kind of data which we use in the program. That is, what kind of data we are handling with. For example, if you are working with a numeric data, that means numbers, maybe numbers having decimal points, that is floating point numbers, or maybe some character sequences like strings or any number of elements in a list. So what kind of data we are actually using in the program and the associated operations with it, that in the program code, that is actually denoted by the data type, and that is referred by the data type. So what are the core data types in Python? Python supports numbers, none, sequences and mappings. These are the core data types which Python supports. Now let's see what is there inside number. Now inside numbers we have integer, floating point, complex, and under integer we have boolean. Then none, which you know, in the previous video I have already said that none is a special literal which denotes nothing, and integer, floating point also we have discussed, and boolean in the previous video session. Then another important core data type is sequences. Under sequences we have strings, tuple, list. These are sequences because the elements which are present inside these sequence data types, they are in an ordered way, they are arranged in an ordered way, so that is why they come under sequence data type. And then we have mappings, and under mappings dictionary and sets is there. Now since you don't have in your syllabus, so we are not going to discuss about sets. So let's see the core data types in details. Now before we go on to the details of the core data types, there are two terms, mutable and immutable data types. Now the entire set of data types, we can divide them into broadly classified two different types, that is immutable data types and mutable data types. Now what are mutable data types? Mutable data types are those whose values we can change in place. For example, lists, dictionaries and sets. That we will see in the example. Later on, in the later on slides, we will see practically also how we can change lists, dictionaries and sets. And a full chapter is there on list, dictionaries, and in the following video sessions also we will be discussing with these. And immutable data types are those that can never change their value in place. Integers, floating point numbers, booleans, strings and tuples, they come under immutable types. So remember, mutable types whose values we can change in place, and immutable types whose values we cannot change. Now let us start on with the data type number in Python. And as you know that number which stores numeric values, they are of three types: integers, floating point numbers and complex numbers. So what are integers? Integers or int are positive or negative numbers. As you have already learnt in mathematics in your secondary classes, that integers, they comprise of all the positive as well as the negative numbers, and with no decimal point. So integers in Python are of unlimited size. That means there won't be any fractional part, there won't be any decimal part. For example, if you can see here, a is equal to 10, b is equal to minus 20. So a is a variable, we are defining it with the value 10. This is an integer, b with the value minus 20. And now when we are multiplying two integers, we are operating on these two integer values a and b. That means 10 into minus 20, we will get minus 200. And if you want to print the value, you can either write a directly over here and you will get the value of a. Otherwise you can write using this print command also, print a. So you are getting the value of a and b, and a into b also you can do inside the print function, and then you can get the value. So this is how integers they are operated on. And especially this int function, int in parenthesis, this int function converts any data type to integer, whether it is a string, whether it's a floating point number, you can convert it to integer data type. How? Like suppose you have declared one variable s is equal to 105 in double quotes. So what is the data type of this s? Yes, it is string. Why it is string? Because it is stored inside double quote. So anything inside double quote or single quote, that is a string data type. Now if I want to convert this string, the value, if I want it in integer, so I have to convert this s into integer. Then I have to use this function int in parenthesis s. So the value of s will be converted to integer type, and that will be assigned to the variable a. So now a will hold the value 105 as integer value. So now if you print a, you will get 105. But if you print s, you will get 105 but in double quotes, and that will mean that it's a string. F is equal to minus 25.7. Now here, which is the integral part? Now if I am working with int function on f, this variable, so we will get what? We will get only the integral part, minus 25, and not the fractional part. So the fractional part will be truncated, it will be removed. So that is why you have got the answer as minus 25, and 0.7 has been removed. So this is int function. Float function. Similarly, float function, they comprise of all the positive and negative real numbers with decimal point. So for example, 4.5 is also a valid floating point number. 2.0 is also a valid floating point number. So if I write only 2, that means 2.0 as in mathematics. Similarly, a negative decimal number, that can also be a floating point number. So p is equal to 92.5. In this example you see, so I have printed the value of p. Now q is equal to another decimal number, I have taken a negative number p into q, so I have got another floating point number. Or you can do like this also, p into q, you store it in r, and that is r will now point to the value p into q, that is minus 4134.75. Again, float function is a special kind of a function which converts any data type to floating point numbers. So s is equal to 468. Now this is a string type. Now if I write float s, then I am converting this 468 to a floating point value, that is a decimal fractional value. Now only 468 would have come if you would have written int, but now since you have written float, so 0.0 is attached with it, because point tells you that this number is a floating point number, a decimal number. Similarly, a is equal to float minus 24. So when you are printing a, that means minus 24 is being converted to a floating point number, and then it is defined in a. So when you are printing a, so it is printing minus 24.0. Yes. Now complex numbers. Complex numbers are combination of a real and imaginary part. As you know, as you have learned in mathematics, complex numbers are in the form of x plus y, j. Now this j is the imaginary value which stands for under root minus 1, square root minus 1. X is the real part, Y is the imaginary part. And J stands for under root minus 1. In small letter always you have to write J. Now let's see complex function. This also creates complex numbers. Now let's see the entire complex number operations, how we can work with complex numbers. Suppose we are declaring a variable A is equal to 12 plus 5J. Now which is the real part? 12 is the real part, which here as you have seen X, and 5J. So 5 is the Y, which is the imaginary part. So when I am printing A, so it is printing 12 plus 5J. This is the complex number. Now B is equal to 34 minus 81J, another complex number I am declaring. So when I am printing B, I am getting this. C is equal to minus 8J. Now when I am printing C, so here the real part is 0. See, 0 minus 8J will fetch you the value minus 8J only. So C, when I am printing, I am getting the real part as minus 0 and minus 8J is the imaginary part. A plus B, if we do A plus B, so what was the value of A? A was 12 plus 5J, and what was the value of B? 34 minus 81J. So now if we calculate the sum of these two, then 12 plus 34, that makes 46, and plus 5 and minus 81, that gives you minus 76J. So the real part is added with the real part and the imaginary part is added with the imaginary part. And since here minus 81 is here, so 5 minus 81 is minus 76 and J is attached to it. So A plus B you get like this. Print B minus C. So now B is 34 minus 81J and C is minus 8J. So the real part will remain as it is, which is 34 minus 0 is 34, and the imaginary part, that is minus 81 J and minus of minus 8J, because here we are subtracting. So minus of minus 8J will give you plus 8J. So minus 81 plus 8J will give you minus 73. Yes, so we get 34 minus 73J. So similarly, a function complex is there through which we can create complex numbers. Like you have to mention the value of X, that is the real part, comma, and the imaginary part Y after comma, and then inside this, inside parenthesis you have to mention. So that will be converted to complex number 5 and minus 27J. So again X we are declaring, so we are getting X as minus 45 minus 23J as you have declared this here. Y is equal to complex in bracket 0 comma 4. So 0 is the real part and 4 is the imaginary part. So real part, since it is 0, so the answer is only 4J, because we have the value of imaginary, because anything added to 0 is that thing only. Again Z is equal to complex 32. Now 32 plus, since you have used complex, so you have to mention this J's value. So plus 0J, since there is no imaginary part you have given here, so that is why 0 along with J. Y plus X, so whatever will be the computation, it will fetch you that value. Now next is Boolean. Boolean takes any two values, either true or false, as we have seen earlier in literals part. And true and false, here we write T in capital letters and false in F of false in capital letter. Values like 0, 0.0, 0 plus 0J. So 0 of integer, 0.0 of floating point number, and 0 plus 0J as a complex number are considered false in Boolean. And every integer number, float number or complex number, whether negative or positive, takes a Boolean value. Now suppose bool is the function which we used with Boolean. So we are going to check what kind of a value we get if we operate bool operator on any value. So bool 1. So 1 is a true value. 5 This is also a positive number, integer number. It's also a true value. Bool 0.7. This is also a true value. Minus 232. So any negative or any positive value or any string value or any complex value is true except 0, 0.0 and 0 plus 0j, which are false. As you can see here, bool 0 plus 0j you get false, bool 0 you will get false, and bool 0.0 you will get false. Otherwise, any value, whether it is negative or positive, whether it is decimal or without decimal, integer or a complex number, other than these three, they are all considered to be true. So this is a very important thing which you should remember. So let's see the practical part of all these integer, float, complex and boolean, a little bit of how to do in IDLE. So here I am on IDLE. So let's see first any integer number. So if I want to print that, any floating point number, and suppose if I want to print int b, so only the integral part of b will come. So what will be the answer? Yes, the answer will be only 12 because 0.7 will not be there. And if I want to print the float value of suppose 35, what will be the answer? Answer will be 35.0. Yes, so it is converted 35 to 35.0. And suppose int, let's take a string, let's take 102. So it will convert, and float 102, it is also converting the string value to float value. Similarly, if I want to use complex function, let us take two numbers. So which is the real part? Yes, the real part is 12 and the imaginary part is 5. So what will be the answer? 12 plus 5j. Yes. Now if I write suppose 30 okay, complex 38 comma minus 5. So the value will be 38 minus 5j. Yes, you are correct. We can declare any variable. Let us take a variable, suppose k. K is equal to 4 minus 2j. Can we write like this? Let us see. Yes. So we have got value of k also as a complex number. And finally boolean. So let's see what we get if we want to check the value. Suppose 10. So this is a positive number, it will be true. Let's take a negative number, it will be true. Let's take 2.5, a fractional number, it will be true. Let's take minus 2.5, it will be true. But if we take bool 0, this will be false, right? Now on the sequence data type, we have string. String is what? String is a sequence of characters. Now these characters can be alphabets as well as any numeric value or any special character which you can see on your keyboard, like symbol of hash, and the rate, dollar, percent, any symbol can be there. In Python, we can create string using either single quote or double quotes, that you know, and both are treated in the same way. So let's say, for example, we have declared a string computer science. So I'm showing you practically. See here, I've just defined S is equal to under quotes computer science, and I've given 3 exclamatory mark that is also treated under this string. Inside that string only, these are characters, and S I'm printing. Now see, how do we treat these characters and how we can operate on these characters? Let's see. There are 2 ways of indexing. Forward index direction is from left to right, and backward index direction is from right to left. Now the index, which is also known as subscript, is the numbered position of a letter in the string. Now in Python, indices begin from 0 up to length minus 1. So what is the length of this string? Let us count first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This space is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So if it is 16, so the forward index, it starts from 0 till 16 minus 1, that is the last one will be 15, that is n minus 1, total length minus 1. And the backward index starts from minus 1 from the right hand side till minus the length of the string, since you are starting from minus 1, and it will move towards left till minus 16. Right? So let's see this example of working with string. I have declared this string computer science and 3 exclamatory marks also. So now the length of the string over here is 19. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The space is 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and these 3, 17, 18, 19. So total characters including the space and these 3 exclamatory marks is 19. So forward indexing from 0 to 18 we'll have, and in the backward direction we'll have from minus 1, then minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 till minus 19. And C is located, this capital C of computer is located at minus 19. So I've shown here using this block so that you can understand well. Now let's see, I have done these codes, I have run these codes. So let me explain you from here itself. Now suppose I want to print the 4th character. So the 4th character is P. So since I'm writing S, and in square brackets you have to mention the index. Always inside the square bracket you have to mention the index number. So when I'm writing 3, so who is at 3? In forward direction 0, 1, 2, 3. In forward direction we have P as a character in the index number 3. So that is why it is printing P. Similarly S, when we are printing minus 3, so minus 3 means from the backward direction. So who is there at minus 3? We have this exclamatory mark. Similarly S minus 6, so at minus 6 we have N. And now these are slicings. We will learn slicings in details in our string chapter, in the string PDF, and when I will cover the entire string in details. Then again for string what we can do, print I love plus S. So in double quotes you have written a string plus again a string, and S is holding a string computer science over here. So I love computer science will come. Again with a string, if you multiply a string with any number, So the string will be repeated as many times as the number. So let me show you here. S into, suppose if I do 3, so 3 times computer science and the 3 exclamatory marks, they have come. And directly also I can write, like suppose A, B, C into 6. So what will be the output? Yes, ABC, 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 ABC. So 6 times ABC will come. So like that. So this is replication of string, right? And we can add 2 strings as I've shown. I love computer science. The same way, let me show you like this. Plus EFG plus XYZ, suppose. So it has concatenated, that means it has joined all the strings together. Now moving on to string more in details, that is string, single line strings, basic strings, they are enclosed under single quote and also under double quote, but they usually terminate in one line. But what about multi-line strings? If the strings you want to print in multiple lines, if you are writing like this, like there are 2 ways of writing multi-line strings: by adding a backslash at the end of the normal string inside single quote or double quote. So you can write like this. So when you are printing, it is printing welcome to the world of wonders. So it is not printing the slash, and just after the slash, whatever is the character, it is attaching it. Similarly, str string over here using triple quotation. So if you write something in triple quotation, it will show you the output, but slash n is the character for new line, so that will be printed. Slash n is the extra character, the escape sequence, which is printed, which denotes new line character. So if you are printing a triple quote, triple double quote also, in the same way it will show you like this. So let me show you, like triple quotes are given. I love my country, India. So see the output, I love in the same line, and then here as you have come to the next line, my country, so just before my slash n, which denotes a new line character, then the space is there, country, and then again since we have come to the next line, so again slash n, this portion, and then India is printed inside single quote, means this is an entire string, right? Lists in Python, they are mutable, which one can change or add or delete any list element, and the index numbering is same, and the values in a list is how you write a list is list are comma separated values of any data type which we can write, either number, floating point numbers, or characters, or again a list inside a list also we can write, but they are written inside square brackets. Always remember, lists are written inside square brackets, and they are comma separated values. It can be of any data type. Like I've written 1 2 3 4 5 comma separated inside square brackets, so I've got this list. Again I've written this A, G, N, I, the separate characters I've written under comma, so these are separate elements of the list. Like A is the first character which is holding the forward index as 0. Remember, the indexing is also same in case of list, in case of string, as well as in case of tuples, right? So let me show you practically one. So here I have declared a list, and the list contains elements 10, comma 20, comma minus 5, comma 60, comma 12.3, comma high. So there are integers also, there's negative integer also, and then there's a floating point number 12.3 and a string also. So how many elements are there? And remember that all these elements of list I have written inside square bracket, and this square bracket only denotes that this is a list. So how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are total 6 elements. But index number, as we have learned in string, the index number, the forward index number starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the negative index number starts from -1. So high is at -1. 12.3 is at -2 index number from the backward side. 60 is at -3. -5, this value is at -4. This is at -5. 20 is at -5 and 10 is at -6. So if I want to get any particular value, like if I want to check what is the value of L3. So L3 over here, 3 denotes the index number. Yes, so 60. 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 is a positive index number I have given. And if I want to see what is there in L, suppose -2. So L -2, that is the backward index number, -2. So here -1 is high. At -1 index number we have high, and at -2 index number we have 12.3. So like this you can get the values, right? Now moving on to tuple. Tuples are immutable data types, and one cannot change the values of a tuple. Now here in the list we can change the values of a list, but we cannot change the values of a tuple. And tuples, they are represented as a list, comma separated values, but of any data type within parenthesis, within this bracket, the first bracket which you say in mathematics. You have to write this within first bracket. And we cannot change any value of a tuple, whereas we can change the value of a list. So let me show you that. Suppose I want to change for a list, suppose this is a list, and I want to change the value of L3, which is 60. Let us make it 80. So what I will write? I will write L3 is equal to 80. So now if I print L, I will get 80 instead of 60 at index number 3. So you can change any value. But if this is a tuple, then let's see for a tuple. I have just declared a tuple T. Inside parenthesis, since I have written some comma separated value, so that is why this is a tuple. T will not denote that it's a tuple, or L, the name will not denote that it's a list. The parenthesis or the square bracket denotes that whether it's a tuple or a list. So T I have declared like this. Here there are 4 elements, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So at T2, 0, 1, 2, at T2 -5.6 is there, at T0 10 is there. Now if I want to change the value of T0 with the value 40, which I tried for a list and I was successful there, here you are getting an error. You are getting a type error. Tuple object does not support item assignment, because we know that tuples are immutable and we cannot change any value, right? So now see. So we have learned strings, lists and tuple, which have certain index number and are under sequence data types. Now moving on to the next one, which is a dictionary. And dictionary is an unordered set of comma separated value and a comma separated key value pair, and key and value are written inside parentheses with separating them is a character colon. This is colon, as you know, and they are written under pairs, like key value pairs within this curly braces. So with the requirement that within a dictionary no two keys can be of the same, they are unique within a dictionary. So now let's see. Suppose I have declared a dictionary D with the value like this under curly braces, this is a curly brace, 10 colon CS. So 10 is the key and CS is the value of this key. Similarly, IP is the next key, colon, and 50 is the value for IP. So 10 and IP are the keys, and after colon, CS and 50 are the values. So similarly, I have declared a dictionary over here, 1 colon Jan, 2, 31. Now I have two keys, that is 1 with the value Jan, and the next key is 2 with the value 31. Now if I want to print only the keys, I will get like D dot keys. D is the name of the dictionary I have declared, so D dot keys, I will get this, the name of the keys, that is 1 and 2, and D dot values, so the values are Jan and 31 for this. And if I want to print entire dictionary D, so it will show you like this. Now what is D2? D2 is what is there in the key 2, which value is being stored by the key 2. So 31 is being stored with the value 2. Similarly D1 Jan. So in this way we can work with dictionary. So let me show you a bit of dictionary part practically. See, here I have just now declared a dictionary D with inside curly braces. 30 is the first key and the value of 30 is Jan. You imagine this as a almirah, a cupboard where the key is 30 and the almirah and the value inside that cupboard we have Jan, comma. Now the next key is 31 and the value is March. Colon is separating the key and the value, comma. The third key value pair is 28, which is the key, colon, and then Feb is the value, comma. This is very interesting. Here the key is India, a string type. In these three they were numbers. India is the string, which is the key over here, colon, and 91, which is actually the mobile number code for international codes which are given. So India has got 91, so that is why I have given here 91. So anyhow, India is the key and 91 is the value for India, and curly braces I have given. So if I want to print D, I have printed like this. Now if I want to see what are the keys under D, I have got this. What are the values? I will get this. Yes. So, and if I want to see that what is there inside this key 28, I will get the value Feb. So dictionary and inside square bracket, when you are mentioning the key, it will fetch you the value inside that key. So I hope key is a bit clear to all of you, and we will learn all this in details. Thank you so much for learning patiently. So this was all about the different data types.